Hello, Days Our Lives fans. This is for Thursday, March the 20th. Please like, subscribe, and share. Well, Johnny's running through the park. He runs into Rafe. He confides in Rafe. He found out about his dad, and then he finds out that, of course, Rafe knew all about it. And he's like, so you've known all this time, and you didn't tell me either. And he was like, Johnny, everybody decided it was best if you didn't know. Your mom didn't want you to know. Your mom loves you and your siblings, and that's all she cares about. She was just trying to protect you, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you. Meanwhile, EJ has gone to rip Kate a new one. I can't believe you took it upon yourself to tell my son how he was conceived. And she's like, well, Roman wouldn't have hurt Johnny for anything. It just kind of slipped out. He's like, Roman did this. They, got in a big arguing match over all kinds of stuff. And she was telling EJ, it's your own fault that you did this. You've got to take, there's consequences to actions. And he said, really? And he said, well, it looks like your kids need to know things. So he told her, that he would be seeing her. Oh, when EJ gets revenge, it's ugly, and Kate was bent by the time he left. You better believe he was. She was. So Javi Hip Hoppies moving Leo in with him, and then Leo finds out he still hadn't even told Gabi and Rafe, and he's like, oh gosh, I don't think this is a good idea. It's their house. I don't want to cause problems between you and them or whatever. He's like, it'll be fine. So he goes over with his bags. Leo is shortly behind him, and she's saying, no way, over my dead body. And then Javi Hip Hoppy says, okay, well, I'll go pack my things because I'm going to move in with him. This is happening. I love him. We're going to live together. And she said, oh, all right. And then she spit off all these rules for Leo. I can't stand this Gabi. Just can't stand her or Jada. So he ends up, he already had him a keychain made and gave it to him earlier. Kristin's mother's trying to get that gun back, and she's telling her, no, why don't you go upstairs and lay down, and we'll talk a little bit later. As she gets ready to go upstairs to lay down, and Jada had walked in. And Jada's another one, man. I just can't stand her. She's just vindictive as all get out. And she starts trouble herself and then gets mad when somebody gets her back. I don't like her. They can take her totally off the show. I didn't like her when she came on. I've not much liked her at all. So, she tells her, your mom and EJ's going to go to jail, or your mom can turn on EJ, and just EJ will go to jail. And you can continue your reunion with your mom. So Kristin goes down to the station with her. She gives her this statement for her mother to sign and to tell her everything. She said she'll go home and talk to her mom about it and let her know. And she said, well, either they're both going down or just one of them. It's up to you. And if I get proof before you get back to me with that, your mom's going to spend the rest of her life in a cold jail. She's just mean, mean as she can be. EJ's back at home. Oh, Mother Blake, I didn't know you were here. I'm not your mother. And he said, although we're not really, related, I love Kristin. She's my sister and blah, blah, blah. And he said, I'd like to know where she went. And she's like, well, it would be better if you knew so you could go along with it. And so she tells her she went with Jada to make arrangements for her to tell Jada everything she knows about EJ. And he said, oh, a plea deal, huh? And he's getting in his safe, and she's like, well, what are you doing? He's like, oh, getting some money and this and that, some papers that I need and to take on the run. And she's like, well, they're going to find you once I testify against you. They're going to hunt you down. And he said, I'm afraid you're not going to testify. Da-da! The forget your memory serum comes out, and she is terrified, to say the least. You know what's going to happen here? Because they say that Rachel's the one that shoots EJ. I bet she comes in when he's trying to shoot her up with that and shoots our Uncle EJ. I bet that's how it goes down. Let's just see. Anyway, and there's hateful ass little bitch. Oh, I just can't stand her. What's her name? Jada. That picture's out of sorts. And that's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching.